And there you go. It was Nathan. Nathan, good evening, mate. I just saw Lucy join as well. Great to see you here, Luce. I've got my iPhone plugged into my computer here, so I have to kind of like lean forward a bit weirdly tonight because I forgot to charge it up. For those who are joining us live, good evening. It's 9 o'clock. Well, just got 9 o'clock here in the UK. For those who are joining us on the replay, massively appreciate you watching. I know a lot of people watch the replays on YouTube or on actsonthis.tv, and I know a lot of people now listen to the audio of the replays over on the Acts on This TV audio experience, and you can subscribe to that for free, guys, on iTunes or Stitcher. Just go to iTunes, the iTunes store, or go to Stitcher.com, search for Act on This TV, all one word, and you can subscribe. I upload all the audio from these Periscopes to there. I do a podcast called 5 to Thrive, which is a positive psychology podcast once a week for free. It's the only place you can get that. That doesn't go on the website. And I also upload random phone calls with, like, you know, famous actors, directors, producers, casting directors, that kind of stuff, all for free. Go to iTunes or Stitcher, search for Acts on This TV, and subscribe. I would love it if you would subscribe, and then let me know you subscribed. Leave a review if you've got 2 minutes as well. So for those who don't know me, welcome. My name's Ross. I'm an actor and a voiceover artist from Manchester in the UK. Tonight is Wednesday. That means it's the Acts on This TV book club. I also scope on a Monday night as well, where we do something called motivation and mind hacks. Last scope on Monday, what did we look at? That was something motivational, I guess. We looked at cleaning up your Facebook and your social media accounts like Twitter, Facebook, just getting rid of all the old clutter. You know, inboxes full of crap, direct message boxes on Twitter full of thousands of messages you're never going to read or you don't need anymore. Who cleared it out? Caroline's saying fabulous. Did you clear all your stuff out? I cleared from 2007 till 2013. Literally no trace of me on Facebook now from 2007 to 2013. I've left 2013 to 17 because I'm like, you know what, that's all cool. There's nothing on there that's, you know, remotely unprofessional. So I'm happy with that. Caroline says she plans to. Awesome. Well, tonight, guys, this is the last week we are looking at our book for the book club, which is an awesome book called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. Now, I know that sounds morbid as hell, all right, but it's not. This book is super, super inspirational. The title of tonight's book club is up on your screen now. It says, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. This is one of the top 5 regrets of the dying, okay? How do we know that? Well, because the author of this book, fabulous lady called Bronnie Ware, wrote about it, and I'm going to tell you all about it in a second. If you could share this scope, guys, would massively appreciate it. You just go to the bottom of your screen now, click on the 3 dots if you're watching live, select Twitter or Facebook, send it out to your mates. This is applicable to everybody, regardless of whether you're an actor or not. You don't have to be an actor to get benefit from this. It's super powerful. Steve says he's already shared it. Appreciate that, Steve. Everybody else, I'll give you 10 seconds to give it a little share, get it out there. More eyeballs on, the more people we can impact, and the more positive impact we can have on this world on this Wednesday night. Where the world today, I normally have a news blackout, guys, where I just don't. I mean, you know, I would recommend everybody just does a news blackout. Basically, the only news you really need to know is that your family is healthy and you are well, and your friends are well and healthy. But I couldn't help, obviously, but catch what had happened in the world today in London with a bit of a terrorist attack going on. We're not going to dwell on it. We're not going to focus on it. I don't want to, you know, give those kind of people any publicity who do these atrocities. But one thing that I would say, particularly prevalent today as we read this book tonight, is that you really need to be aware of your mortality. There was people today who were literally just walking over Westminster Bridge who had said goodbye to their kids and their wives or husbands this morning who, in a blink of an eye, you know, were taken out today and didn't make it home. A lot of the things you're worrying about today and you are fearing about tomorrow or you're regretting from the past are really just bullshit things that really mean fuck all in the world. Ultimately, you need to focus on the things that really matter to you, which ultimately is your friends and your family and your health. It's not really even your career, you know, your acting career. None of that's really important. You just need to enjoy the process and enjoy your life because you don't know what's around the corner. So, yeah, events like that really make me appreciate my mortality, make me incredibly grateful to be here. And I think it's, you know, it's just a real kind of wake up for us all when something like that happens to go, am I living the life I want to live for me, as opposed to living a life that I don't really want to be living right now, you know, and if that's the case, you need to change things up and start enjoying yourself. So thank you for sharing. This is Bronnie. Bronnie's an awesome author who originally started working in banking years ago and was in the corporate world. She decided she really didn't like that area of her life. She changed it up. started working in palliative care, which is end-of-life care with people who are very old or terminally ill. And she studied these people and spent a lot of time with these people over many, many years, and then ended up speaking to them, obviously in depth, finding out about their lives, their regrets, and then wrote a book called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying that she'd experienced with these people time and time again, and then gave us the gift of this book so that we can learn from that and hopefully never end up having those regrets. We've looked at 3 regrets so far. If you want to go and look at the replays of those, go to actsonthis.tv and you can catch up. Tonight we're looking at page 135 to 144 for those who have the book and you might want to read along. If you hate reading, don't worry, I'm going to read it to you. And the regret tonight is regret number 4. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. This is a particularly prevalent one for me because in 2016, I definitely did not spend enough time with my friends, without a doubt. I was so work-focused, website work-focused, acting work-focused, voiceover work-focused. I absolutely neglected my friends, without a doubt. Give me some hearts if you've been guilty of that. I think we all can get very focused on our work, and sometimes we can neglect our friends. Sometimes we can neglect our families as well, I class my brother as one of my best friends. And there's sometimes, in 2016, definitely a week would go by when I wouldn't speak to the guy. I speak to him probably at least every other day now. And it's great. It's really good to have somebody that close, as one of your best mates. We're looking at page 135 to 144 tonight. So I'm going to jump on the camera, and I'm going to read it to you. It's the beauty of these book clubs. If you hate reading, if you're listening on the audio experience now, and you are walking, or you're in the gym, or you're in the car, or you're lying on the bed, chill out. I'm going to read you this book. It's a great tale tonight. Steve says he can go months without seeing his sister or speaking to his sister. Well, we're going to change that tonight, Steve, because I'm going to give everyone a challenge at the end of this to reach out to somebody, and then you're going to tell me in the Acts on This Facebook group who it was, or you're going to tweet me and let me know. So as always, guys, I'm going to read. I'm going to try giving the camera eye contact so you guys at least get connection with me, and I'm going to try and keep an eye on my phone, but it's plugged in tonight down here. So in terms of reading comments, it might be quite difficult. If I miss a comment, apologies, or if I miss someone joining or somebody saying hello or anything like that, can you other guys look out for me and welcome them yourselves? All right, and I'll jump on in between pages. I've only got about 9 pages to read, but it's pretty small text, so it might still take, this might be half an hour or something, but settle in and let's begin. You're going to love this. So regret number 4, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. I'm not well, so I won't say much, says Caroline. No worries, Caroline, just listen. So it says, occasional shifts were done in nursing homes. This is Bronnie talking about her nursing homes and the work she was doing. And she was doing work at nursing homes in between regular clients in their private houses. They were not common shifts, to which I was grateful, as I found these places absolutely awful. So I don't know if anyone's ever been in a nursing home, but they're generally, I used to deliver papers when I was a kid into nursing homes, and they weren't particularly nice places to be a lot of the time. The clients attended to in these situations were not always palliative either. They were just people in some need of help, and sometimes I was employed simply to be an extra staff member in an existing team rather than looking after any one particular client. If ever one wants to live in denial about the state of our society, avoid nursing homes. If you ever feel strong enough to look at life honestly, spend some time in one. There are a lot of lonely people in them, a lot. Any of us could become a patient at any time. Being exposed to the staff on these occasions was both devastating and inspiring. Some of those I worked with briefly over the years were beautiful, good-hearted people who were obviously working in the right field. Their spirit was bright, their hearts kind. Thank goodness for these people. But as most nursing homes were understaffed, they were constantly challenged to spread their good cheer around. At the other end of the scale were those who had either gotten weary and dependent working in their field, or had never had the enthusiasm in the first place. Empathy goes a long way in life and was lacking terribly in the team I was placed with on the night I met Doris. So this week's chapter is all about Doris. Give me some hearts for Doris. She's a legend. What are you going to hear about her? The residents shuffled into the communal dining room on their walking sticks and frames. They were people from relatively decent means, as it was a private and so-called luxury nursing home. Great name, says Caroline. Love a bit of Doris. And so this is a luxurious nursing home. The decor was lovely, the gardens well maintained, the communal areas clean, but the meals were awful. Everything was pre-cooked outside of the home and reheated in the microwave without taste or any enticing aroma. There was nothing nutritious or fresh about the food I saw there. Residents placed their orders at the end of the previous week and usually had a plate of something slid in front of them with no greeting or kindness from the staff. Seeing a cheerful face, they would touch my hand and keep me at the table talking with them, because Bronnie was obviously super cheerful. These were regular people whose minds were clear and who loved social interaction. Their bodies were aging and becoming frail, but that was all. A year or two earlier, these same charming, delightful people were living completely independent lives of their own. As I returned to the kitchen for another tray of plates, scowls from some of the staff awaited me. I'd merely chatted and laughed with some of the residents briefly on my round, and this was met with disapproval. I just ignored it. Returning a plate of lamb, I told the head person in a friendly manner, "Bernie ordered chicken, not lamb." She half laughed, replying, "He'll get what he's bloody well given." "Come on," I said, not intimidated by the response. "Surely we can give him a chicken dish." "He'll get lamb or he'll starve," she said bitterly. I looked at her with compassion for her obvious unhappiness, but with no respect for her manner in the role she was playing. A lovely staff member fell into step with me as I returned the lamb to Bernie. "Don't worry about her, Bronnie, she's always like that," Rebecca said. I smiled, glad for a genuine heart. I'm not worried about her at all. It's the residents I care about, who have to live with this treatment day in and day out. Rebecca agreed. "It used to affect me a lot when I first started here, but now I just do what I can to give them all the kind treatment possible, without any limitations." "Good on you," I replied with a smile. "So Rebecca's good, she's on our side, guys." She rubbed my back as she walked off in another direction. There are a few of us who care. Not enough, but there are a few. When the meals were served and somehow eaten, and the kitchen was clean, some of the staff members went outside for a smoke. A few of us stayed inside and chatted to the departing residents. It was jovial as a dozen or so people gathered around to share a laugh with us. Their wit and cheerful spirits amazed me as I marvelled at the resilience of these people, having adapted so well to their new conditions. Each of the residents had their own room and bathroom. As I did the nightly round of helping people to get dressed for bed, each room revealed some personality of its resident. Photos of smiling families, paintings, crocheted rugs, and favourite teacups dotted each room. Some balconies had plant pots on them. Doris, here she is, was already dressed in her pink nightdress when I breezed in cheerfully. Introducing myself, she just smiled without saying anything, then looked away. Asking if she was okay, I was then met with a flood of tears. Immediately sitting beside her on the bed, I held her in my arms. No words were spoken while she sobbed, holding on to me desperately. I prayed for strength and waited. When the tears stopped, it was as quickly as they'd started, and she reached for a handkerchief. "Oh, silly me," she said, wiping her eyes. "Forgive me, sweetheart. I'm just a silly old woman." "What's going on with you?" I asked gently. Doris sighed, then shared how she'd been there for 4 months and had hardly seen a cheerful face since. She said my smile had set her tears off, which almost made me want to cry. Her one daughter now lived in Japan, and while she was in touch fairly often, they were no longer terribly close. Caroline's saying, "Oh God." This is where it gets a little bit sad, guys. Listen to this. This is what Doris is saying. "You never think as a mother nursing your beautiful little girl that anything could ever take away your closeness. But it has. Life has. Not through an argument, mind, just life and its busyness." She shared. She has her own life now and learned over the years you just have to let go. "I brought her into the world, but we do not own our children. We're just blessed with the role of guiding them until they can fly on their own, and that's what she's doing now." I warmed to this dear lady instantly and promised to return in half an hour for a longer chat if she could stay awake long enough for me to finish my shift. She said she'd love that. Later then, Doris sat up in her bed talking away. In a chair beside her, I listened. She held my hand the whole time, now and then playing with my fingers or the ring I was wearing without realising she was doing so. "I've been dying of loneliness in here, sweetheart. I'd heard it was possible, and it is. Loneliness is here, sweetheart. I'd heard it was possible, and it is. Loneliness can surely kill you. I get so starved for human touch at times," she said sadly. My hug had been the first she had had in 4 months. She didn't want to burden me with it, but I insisted on her continuing. I was genuinely interested in knowing her. So she went on. I'm missing my friends most of all. Some have died. Some are in situations like me. Some I've lost touch with. I wish I hadn't lost touch with them. You imagine your friends will always be there, but life moves on and suddenly you find yourself with no one in the world who understands you or who knows anything about your history. I suggested we try to reach out to some of them. She shook her head, saying, well, I wouldn't know where to start. I can help, I offered, as I went on to explain about the internet, obviously, an amazing thing we have at our disposal. It was all very foreign to Doris, and she did well to understand it to a degree. At first she declined, worried about my time. Finally, though, I convinced her I'd love to. Investigative skills were something I'd enjoyed. During my years in banking, I'd worked for a short time in frauds and forgeries, and I'd loved it. She laughed at the comparison. Please allow me, I requested. So she agreed with a hopeful, wistful smile. I wanted to help Doris for a few reasons. I'd liked her from the first moment, and I could help her. I had the skills to try to find her friends, but also wanted to help her because I knew how she felt. I had also known the crippling pain of long-term loneliness and the longing for understanding. In previous times, the pain of my past had worn me down to such a place that I had withdrawn a long way into myself. It was the misled belief many people experience that if you keep people out, you keep the pain out. You stop yourself from being hurt even more. If no one can get close, then no one can hurt you anymore either. Of course, the only real way to heal is to let love flow in and through again, not to block it out, but reaching that point can take a long time. Who resonates with that? Who's ever been hurt by something in their life and has then been like, I used to be like that, says Steve. And then it's been like, right, I can't let anybody in now again because I did last time and it fucked me up. I find a lot of people do that, and actually they instinctively want to do that, but really they need to do the complete opposite. And I say this all the time, like I would much rather have a battered, bruised, and broken heart that's been mended and duct taped back together than lock my heart away, cage it up, have a caged heart. Yep, from an early age, says Gary. So a lot of people resonate with this. I think this is just a human element for everybody. It's like a mechanism for protection. On the surface, I was a friendly person to those I came across, but the pain I was carrying from my difficult past was still weighing me down. I'd definitely grown into a place of compassion by now for those who had previously thrown their negativity my way. That wasn't the problem. It was my thoughts of myself that were still taking some time to be transformed. Decades of negative thinking were being undone, and at times the pain was unbearable. Although I knew intellectually that I was worth more than what I'd been conditioned to believe, emotionally, the healing still had distance to go. Sunday Morning Coming Down became my theme song. I don't know this. This is by somebody called Chris Christopherson. I don't know that song at all. I found that song to be the best expression of my loneliness. Sundays were always the worst. Who agrees? Sundays are a pretty shit, weird day, aren't they? That's why I do my run on a Sunday. Don't they have a different energy about them? I don't know if you find that, but I definitely find Sundays just feel weird. Who loves that song? Is that Julie? I couldn't read that name. Someone said I love that song. I don't know it. Chris Christopherson. I'll have to try and find it and have a little play of that. But yeah, Sundays are weird. So Caroline says, yeah, boring sometimes, says Gary. Yeah, they are like, they have a weird energy about them sometimes. I think it's because as a kid I was conditioned that Sundays was the day before school. And that, that was like, oh, dreadful. And that maybe, it's kind of stayed with me a little bit. Although I really enjoy Mondays because I don't, I love my work now. So that's a little bit weird that it still has that impact. So that was a song that she likes anyway. She says, it wasn't just Sundays though. Loneliness leaves emptiness in the heart that can physically kill you. The ache is unbearable, and the longer it hangs around, the more despair it adds. Miles of city streets, country roads, and everything in between were walked during those years. Loneliness isn't a lack of people. This is what's really interesting. Loneliness isn't a lack of people. It's a lack of understanding and acceptance. Huge amounts of people the world over have experienced loneliness in crowded rooms. Give me some hearts if you've ever been in a crowded room and still felt completely alone. In fact, being alone in crowded rooms often highlights and exasperates loneliness. People are giving me hearts. It doesn't matter how many people are around you. If there's no one available who understands you or accepts you as who you are, loneliness can very readily present its agonizing self. It's very different than being alone, as I'd loved this often in the past. Being alone can mean you are lonely or you are happy. Loneliness, however, is a longing for the company of one who understands you. Sometimes being alone and loneliness are related, but very often they're not. So I love my own company. Not because I just think I'm great or anything, but I really enjoy focused work and spending time, working on stuff and that kind of things. But last year, when I was focusing so much on work and not friends, there were definitely Friday nights, Saturday nights, like when I'd finished work. And I never really finished my work because it's so ongoing. On Acts on This and the websites and that kind of stuff. But there were definitely times where I craved communication or contact with another human being. And it's great that we have this technology. Like, I feel that all you guys are with me right now, and those listening on the audio experience, hopefully you feel like I am with you wherever you are, and I'm accompanying you. But there's never anything quite like, one-to-one kind of human interaction in the real world. On a physical level where you can sit down and talk to somebody. And sometimes I really felt like I needed that. And I'd just get on the phone and talk to somebody. Gary says, yeah, no real cut-off between work and life. Yeah, sometimes you do need a little break, don't you, now and again. So Bronnie opens up here into something that I was quite surprised to read, but she talks about a really negative time in her life. So I'll just read you this. She said, the loneliness became so unbearable, the ache in my heart so constant, suicide became an occasional accompanying thought. I didn't want to die at all, of course. I wanted to live, but realizing my own worth, not what I'd been led to believe, and breaking free of the pain sometimes took incredible strength to master. Allowing love and happiness to flow back through my life, or even to accept I deserved it, was so unbearably difficult at times that the option of suicide felt more appealing. That's, God, it's like bad place. As the pain and loneliness finally became so much and too much to bear, when I reached the most painful place so far, my prayers were answered via an act of kindness and understanding. A friend rang at the perfect time. This is like serendipity. This is like crazy the way it's happened. A friend rang at a perfect time. He knew I was going through some hard stuff, but he didn't know at that very moment I was writing my exit letter. Through slow, heartbroken tears. I was ready to go. I just couldn't live with the constant ache in my heart anymore. So she was writing like a suicide note. He insisted I didn't have to say a word. I just had to listen. So via my exhaustion and tears, I reluctantly agreed. Through the phone, I heard him begin to play his guitar. Then the words Starry, Starry Night from Don McLean's song, Vincent. Great song, that. I had to sing that for an audition once back in the day. Starry, Starry Night. Vincent started to reach my ears as he sang to me, replacing Vincent with Bronnie. My tears just fell harder as I related to the song so much. Its tragedy and the pain, the gentle melody, telling the story of Vincent van Gogh's own suffering. When he'd finished, I continued to sob. There was nothing else I could do. He sat patiently in silence, and then I thanked him and hung up the phone, still crying. I wasn't capable of more words at that time. So this guy's kind of like phoned her and serenaded her like the perfect opportunity, it would seem. Falling asleep that night, I was totally drained and emotionally exhausted. I acknowledged, though, that through my friend's understanding and kind intentions, a small pilot light of hope had at least been reignited. The following evening, a friend from England rang out of the blue. We talked long and honestly, and my strength slowly started to return little by little. So this is just off people reaching out to her when she really, really needed it. So having previously been to this level of sadness and loneliness, I now understood the pain Doris was experiencing. It was real and it was tangible for her. She was around people at mealtimes and here and there during the day, but she was longing for understanding and acceptance, missing her friends because they were the people who truly understood her. If I could help to ease that pain, then why wouldn't I? The mind is a fragile thing, says Caroline. It can be, absolutely. It can be the hardest prison to escape from as well. The following week, I dropped in to find a list of names waiting for me in the dear lady's lovely handwriting. Doris told me what she could find out about the 4 friends of hers and where they'd been living when she had last made contact. We drank tea as we shared their stories. So she's given Bronnie 4 people to try and get in contact with on the internet. One of the women was easy to locate, but she'd suffered a stroke and could no longer talk. With news of this, Doris dictated a brief message that her friend's son would read onto her. While she was saddened to hear of her friend's state, she was peaceful knowing a message could at least be passed on. And here's the message she wrote for it. It says, "Dear Elsie, I'm sorry to hear you're not well. Years have flown by. Alison's still living in Japan. I sold the house and I'm in a nursing home. A young lady is writing this for me. I love you, Elsie. Yours sincerely, Doris." So what a lovely little note to send out the blue. Remember the other night I mentioned touch notes, those online postcards you can just write and send people from your phone. And it's lovely to just maybe, get a touch note out to somebody, guys, who maybe you haven't made contact with in a while. It was simple, but said everything that she wanted to. I called Elsie's son that night and passed the words on. He called me back, telling me how Elsie had smiled in delight. I passed this on to Doris, which then left her with a smile of content. So this is good. This is really, good quality stuff. Over the next few weeks, I managed to find out about another 2 of her friends. Sadly, they'd both already passed over. Doris nodded in acceptance of this. Sighing, she said, "Well, it was probably to be expected, sweetheart." The pressure to find the last friend left me very determined. Scanning the internet and making numerous phone calls, things were not looking good though. People were lovely and helpful when I called, but sorry, right name, wrong family became a familiar reply. In the meantime, I still visited Doris twice a week. She'd always hold one of my hands as soon as I sat down and for the duration of our conversation. Sometimes, insisting that I must have better things to do, she'd try to rush me off or convince me not to come. When I assured her I was gaining great pleasure from our time, which I would see the relief in her face and the eagerness for each new visit. There's much to learn from older people. So much history is carried forward with them. How could I not enjoy our delightful conversations? They were fascinating. And I keep mentioning my old mates in the gym every morning, guys. I tell you about them every week. But Bert and Pat, who I found out today's name was actually Eileen, but everyone called her Pat from like 2 days after she was christened. So she's had a confusion all her life because her name's been Pat to everybody. But when she's applied for job interviews under the name Eileen, they've gone, "Who the hell's this Eileen who's worked here for 35 years? She's gone, "You mean Pat?" It's all mental. But Bert's my mate in the gym, Caroline. He's awesome. He's great. I'm trying to get him on I'll maybe get him on an Instagram story on Friday morning if I see him in there. But you can learn so much from old people because they've been there, they've done it. Everyone should go to a nursing home and volunteer for a day. So a breakthrough finally came while looking for the last friend. Steve wants to meet Bert. Maybe you will do one day, Steve. I received a phone call from an elderly man who said that he'd once been Lorraine's neighbour. So this is Lorraine is the last person we're looking for. He told me what suburb the family had moved on to, and I was successful in tracking her down. In fact, it was Lorraine herself who answered the phone in her elderly but friendly voice, explaining who I was and my intentions. She gasped in joy and wholeheartedly agreed for me to give Doris her number. Boom! So we found Lorraine, guys. Naturally, I took it straight to her. Hugging Doris as I grinned, I then handed her the piece of paper with Lorraine's name and number on it. She grabbed me again and hugged me full of excitement. It was precious. Signalling for me to bring the phone, I couldn't get it fast enough for her. Before the number was dialed, though, I said I'd leave her to the phone call rather than just sit in on them both. She protested mildly, but I could see she really didn't mind. She was just so excited. Asking me to stay until the call went through, though, I agreed. So we exchanged a warm and loving hug, goodbye, before I dialed Lorraine's number for her. My heart was beating fast with excitement. As she held the receiver, Doris's face lit up in joy at the sound of her friend's voice. While Doris's own voice was old, and I knew Lorraine's was too, the spirit in that phone call was instantly like 2 young women. I hear this in my mum's voice when she speaks to her old mates. My mum's 65 now, so hardly like old. But like when she gets on the phone to one of her mates, it's like they're like 25 again. Like, silly, daft, laughing. It's brilliant. I don't think we ever our minds ever grow old. Our bodies do, but our minds never do. They were laughing in no time and chatting non-stop. I tidied the room up a bit, pottering around, unable to extract myself from the incredible happiness. But eventually, I did leave. At the door, I waved quietly goodbye to Doris, who was radiant. She stopped talking for a moment, asking Lorraine to wait, and said to me, "Thank you, sweetheart, thank you." I nodded while smiling so much my face ached. Walking down the corridor, I could still hear Doris laughing until the door had closed properly. The smile didn't leave my face all the way home. It was a glorious day, and a swim was beckoning. The high stayed with me while I enjoyed the water flowing around me as I dipped and swam for a couple of hours. At home, just after sunset, I received a phone call from Rebecca. Remember Rebecca at nursing home? We liked her. The lovely staff member I had met the night I worked there and had first met Doris. Dear Doris had passed away later that afternoon in her sleep, she said. Tears of sadness fell instantly, but there was joy too. After all, she died happy, that dear lady. So that same afternoon, she died in her sleep, but she'd had that phone call to Lorraine. It's amazing how a little bit of time can change a person's life. When I think about the lonely woman I met the first night to the person who I hugged goodbye on her last day, no amount of money could substitute the satisfaction that gave me. There are thousands of beautiful but very lonely people in nursing homes all over the world. There are also many young people whose lives are now confined to nursing homes. Young or old, though, a couple of hours a week of a new friendship can make all the difference to these people and to their final chapter. Of course, keeping people out of nursing homes in the first place is preferred, though sadly not always possible. There are many people in homes who shouldn't be there. People just disposed of, in a way. It's awful to witness. A bit of time given, though, has the potential to change these people's lives immensely. For me, the timing of Doris's departure was perfect. Simply, it was her time to go, and she'd been happy. We'd played the role we were meant to in each other's lives. And for that, I will always be grateful. She was a darling woman. Lorraine and I met soon after. The phone call between them had gone on for ages, she said. Both had parted with great happiness. We sat under trees at a cafe talking happily about Doris and life in general until it was time to drive Lorraine home. It was lovely to have been able to meet a friend. Certainly, it had been beautiful to know Doris too. And hopefully, of course, our dear friend was able to meet up with her other friends when she reached the other side. And that's it for that chapter about Doris. So she'd got a last wish in effect, guys. She'd got that phone call. And hopefully, that dreadful feeling of loneliness had departed before she herself departed. But I just think it's a really powerful story again, and it just hit home for me to go, you know what am I really going to care about on my deathbed? I'm not going to go, oh guys, just give me one last look at actonthis.tv. I mean, I might want to see it a little bit, but I'm going to be like, guys, I want that phone call with my mates, or I want my family around me, or I want my friends around me, because that's really what matters. Yes, my career is important to me. Building something and having legacy when I'm gone is important to me, but it means nothing without people to share it with and people in my life. And I class all you guys in that as well. I'm incredibly grateful to spend time with you guys for at least an hour twice a week, and then all the time we spend chatting on the Facebook group. And I think the acting industry, give me some hearts if you think the acting industry can be a lonely game sometimes, because it can be, particularly if none of your mates are actors and stuff. Compromise, have the acts on this community around you. Yeah, I guess on my deathbed, hopefully, Steve, it's going to be in 65 years, but I could maybe send I could give you one last like on Facebook, or whatever we've got at that point. I'll do one last Periscope with my phone over here over my head going, all right guys, it's time to go. But yeah, so Caroline said, yeah, the acting industry can be brutal. It can if your mates aren't actors. And and you're around people who don't particularly inspire you because they're working jobs that you just don't relate to what you're after and what you want to achieve, and maybe they're not necessarily creative. It can be lonely, and that's the whole reason I set up Acts on this and the whole community around it. I'll get Chris Stone to film it, Ross. Yeah, Chris is a couple of years younger than me, so maybe I'll go first, Fanny. I don't really want to think about it. But by then, the cameras that lad will have, my death will look beautiful. Everyone will be like, oh my God, did you see Ross's death? It was fucking brilliant. It just looked gorgeous. Oh my God. Do you know what? Like, there's probably some kind of crazy reality TV show there, down the line, filming people as they go. You know what? That'd be something, wouldn't it? That's crazy. What's Caroline saying? There's something called the Silver Line. What's that? Tell me what that is. Oh, in Japan there is. Bloody hell. That's a bit too crazy for me. That's mad. Esther Ransom set it up for elderly people. Oh, right. So like Child Line, Silver Line for elderly people so they don't get lonely. Oh, that's a great idea. Esther's always coming up with phone lines. It's a good one. Good on her. You ring up an old person. That's brilliant. You know what I saw the other day, which is great, because I'm partially sighted, guys. I keep an eye on technology and what's going on for the blind and partially sighted people. And there's a brilliant new app. Can't remember the name of it. It's got the word sight in it. I'll tweet it because I think it's a great app. And what it does is enables you to download an app on your phone, and it enables a partially sighted or a blind person to download the app on their device as well. And if they need somebody to see something for them, like cooking instructions, or maybe find something for them in their house, they can put a request out, and then a sighted person can go, oh yeah, all right, Doris, I'll help you. And then you click like accept, and then you can see Doris's camera, and she can hold the phone like in front of the box that she wants to read the cooking instructions on, and you as a sighted person can then read it to her. Which I think is a lovely way to connect and help people. I think technology is really bridging those gaps. And sometimes, my mum's amazing. My mum's blind, so she can't go out on her own. But buying her an iPhone that has a camera on it, so that she can then, my nephew can FaceTime her. It's just incredible, because if I'm not around and I can't see my mum and stuff like that, then it can be super lonely. In that situation. So it's great technology just bringing people together. I don't know what that app actually is, what it's called, but I will find it. I'll post it in the Facebook group, because I think it's great if you all would sign up for that. And then it's literally just giving like a couple of minutes of your time every now and again to just really help someone with something very basic that you take for granted. Because cooking instructions, even for me, can be a pain in the arse. To try and read without magnifying glasses and stuff like that. Even these comments on my phone, as I'm trying to read the comments on Periscope, I'm like, hello? But yeah, so it's great, bridging that gap, and helping people. So the Silver Line, like, bridging that loneliness thing sounds awesome as well. They have something to look forward to and a person to connect with. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's lovely. And that's what, people say, oh, technology, it's a curse. Everyone's on the phone all the time. Bullshit. If used, responsibly, it's an absolute blessing. We have never been more blessed with the ability that we have to connect, as long as you are doing it responsibly, and you're still, not just using it as the only way you connect with people virtually. Like I say, there's no substitution, is there, for contact in the real world, and pressing the flesh with someone and actually, shaking their hands and giving them a hug. Giving them a hug releases oxytocin. It's a real feel-good love hormone. We all need more hugs. Like, genuinely, it helps you perform better in life if you have more oxytocin and you feel good. So, the whole thing of giving people free hugs actually, it sounds a bit hippie-ish, but actually can have real benefits. Awful lot of lonely people out there, says Caroline. Yeah, no, there is. There absolutely is. So what I want to do, guys, is just to finish, just give you a little challenge. Sorry about that. I just pressed the wrong button and I just made it all go dark for a second. I want to give you guys a little challenge here, and it's dead simple. I want you to just think who you haven't spoken to in a while. Do you still have their mobile number? Okay, or if you don't have their mobile number, do you have their email address? Okay. And pull out your phone. If you're listening on the audio experience particularly, you're probably going to have your phone with you now. Pull out your phone right now as you are listening and just drop that person a text. And it's just to touch base and just say, hey, not spoken in a while, I was thinking about you. How are you? Anything I can help you with, let me know. Choose one person a week to catch up with. Fanny says she does this often. This is great if you do it often. Because life, ultimately, guys, is built on relationships. It's not built on money or wealth or materials bullshit. Like I say, you're not, regardless of how successful you all get, and when you're winning Oscars and you're all multimillionaires in the acting industry, you're not going to be like, oh, just go and put me in the Ferrari one last time. You're not going to be bothered about that. None of it means anything in the grand scheme of things. You're going to be like, let me spend some time with my family one last time, or my friend one last time, or that person who made a huge impact in my life one last time. So I challenge everybody, and I'm going to do it myself. Just, I could go through people in my phone who I really haven't spoken to in well over a year, and just send them a text and just go, hey, just checking in, hope all is cool. And I'm going to make a conscious effort to try and do that, at least on a weekly basis. I told you about a friend of mine who said that he texts somebody every morning who he's not spoke to, like almost like a lottery, to go, hey, you just won text of the morning. Your prize is, some love from me, and, just hope you're all right and everything's good. Just to brighten, somebody's day. And I think that's lovely. We all need that sometimes. Just to know that someone's thinking about you is really, really nice. I'm not a religious person, but, in the past, people who are friends of mine who are religious have said, oh, I'll pray for you. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I love that. I'm not even religious, but I just, it's just lovely to think someone is out there thinking about you, And if there is stuff in religion, then they're putting a good word in for me. So I'm super spiritual, really very spiritual, but yeah, I don't know where I stand on, like, true religion and stuff. I've never been, a churchgoer or anything like that. But it's nice just to know that people have you in their thoughts. And so we're going to finish on a quote. I always like to finish on a quote, guys. This is by David Rockefeller. You all know Rockefeller. You've probably been at the Rockefeller Center in New York. This is brilliant. Obviously an incredibly wealthy man, but understands the value of life. And he says, I am convinced that material things can contribute a lot to making one's life pleasant. But basically, if you do not have very good friends and relatives who matter to you, life will be really empty and sad, and material things cease to be important. And I think that's really true. You can have as much success as you want in your acting career, have as much money as you want in your bank, but if you're fucking lonely and you've got no one to share that with and no one just to have a laugh with and spend time with, none of that means anything at all. Robin Williams springs to mind. His quote was something like, there's only one thing worse than being lonely, and that's being surrounded by people and still feeling lonely. And that was, the whole reason that guy took his life. I know things have come out since saying, he suffered with some mental illness and stuff like that, but ultimately, on paper, you would think he had it all. Super successful acting career, all the money in the world, all the adoration in the world. People loved him. But he had, he had it all, but at the same time, he had nothing. He just felt so dreadfully alone that he was like, I can't carry on. And he didn't. And it's so sad, because I don't think there's ever a situation where that's necessary. I think if you reach out for help, you'll always get it. Michael Sheen said something similar. Friends and family are incredibly important. They really are. They're everything. They really are everything, guys. So it's always super, super important that we focus on that. And like I say, don't want to dwell on it, but particularly after today's events in London, there's people who won't get to see their families again, and families who won't get to see their loved ones again after what happened today. Luckily, that didn't apply to any of us on here, because you're here live watching this now, or you're listening to this now. So please be grateful for that. Really grateful for that. Just be super grateful for just being here. And whether you're in pain right now or not, there's time left on the clock. You can fix that because you're still here. So with that, guys, I'm going to call it a day, but I'm going to be back on Monday with another live Periscope. I'm also going to be releasing two things on Friday. One is an interview with Coronation Street director Jordan Hogg. That's going to be available to all premium members on actonthis.tv. If you're not a premium member yet, sign up. It's just £10 a month. Most of that money goes to charity, and it helps me run the website. But every guest who comes on gets a charity donation to give to a charity of their choice. That's where the premium revenue gets spent. £10 a month or £90 for the year, so you get 3 months free. That works out at £7.50 a month. I'm sure you spend, God, what's that, like just £2.25-ish a week. I'm sure you buy yourself a coffee a week if you're complaining you don't have the money to invest in your career and get access to these incredible people, then I would take a hard look at what you spend in £2.20 on a week that you can't put into your career, because I'm sure you would find it. Like I said the other night, I said if the government put a tax on oxygen and it was £10 a month, you'd find it. People tell me they're desperate to be actors and it's the only thing that they need to do and they were born to do it. I would highly suggest you take on board the advice from the most incredible people in the industry, casting directors, agents, actors, producers, that is available at actonthis.tv, and you invest that pittance in your career. And also, help me to help other people as well, because like I say, a lot of that money goes to charity and we do real good with it. So yeah, appreciate you all for supporting me on that. That's amazing. I'm also going to launch a podcast on iTunes on Friday on the Acts on This TV audio experience as well. So you're going to get some more free content there. Can barely swallow or move. Who's that? That's what Fanny's saying. What are you doing, Fanny? You eating or something like that? I don't know. I missed the comments. No, you need to listen to... Oh, yeah, I need to listen to Chris Christopherson. Yeah, I do. Because he was mentioned in tonight's book. Yeah, I will go and have a look. Fanny's not well. Oh, well, Fanny, thanks for joining us if you're not well. Thank you, Steve. If you've got a sore throat, you know what really works well? As a voiceover artist, something that I absolutely, rely on sometimes. I'm not a big drinker at all, but someone told me an old wives' tale that I didn't believe, and that was a gargle with sherry if you've got a really, really sore throat. And I was like, nah, it's bullshit. They said, try it. I tried it. Honest to God, the next morning, my sore throat was completely gone. I mean, entirely gone. You've got to gargle with little, but for quite a while. So, I like the taste of sherry anyway, but don't just be tempted to down it. Hold it in the back of your throat and gargle it literally for 60 seconds at a time and just sip it. Don't take too much. I don't know the science behind it, but there must be some antibacterial stuff in the alcohol that's there. But I've done it multiple times now, and it's worked every single time. It's an absolute godsend. So give it a try and let me know if it works for you as well. So appreciate you guys massively. Keep me updated with what you're doing. Follow me on Instagram. I'm doing loads of Instagram stories now. You'll be able to follow literally my entire day. I post 6-7 times a day on Instagram stories. Now, stories is a different part of Instagram for those who don't know. It's not the main profile. If you tap on someone's avatar, somebody's profile picture within Instagram, you can watch a story. They can post multiple 15-second videos a day. Fanny, I've been watching yours. I've been watching a few people on here. It's awesome. It's really, really good, and it's a really great way to document your day and keep people updated with what you're doing. Very entertaining. I'm watching Fanny do a 6-week get in shape kind of program. Fanny, you're doing it. At least you're doing it. You're hitting it hard. I'm hearing a little bit of complaining, but you're doing it. So good for you. Keep it up. Oh, it's 12 weeks, he said. It's not even 6 weeks. Bloody hell. Oh, my God. You must keep it up for 30 days, okay? There's something, and I've gone over this on other Periscopes before. There's something called habit gravity and escape velocity. When you're first starting out on creating a new positive habit, guys, gravity's almost with you, because for the first few days, you're like, yeah, this is great. This is really, really great. It's almost like you're going downhill. It's no effort at all. Then what happens around about day 3 is you start hitting some gravity that's pulling you back down into your old ways, okay? And not only do you start not wanting to go to the gym by day 4 and 5, by day 6 and 7, you're actually actively resenting going to the gym. You will make any excuse. You will say, oh, I pulled my shoulder last week. Oh, my back's sore. Oh, I'll just let myself off today. Oh, I'll just have this cake or whatever. And then most people, it's like an uphill battle from there till about day 24. Most people give up by day 21 and then it's gone, not knowing they were so close to what's called escape velocity, which normally kicks in around about day 27, 28. And that's where the curve starts becoming less steep and you actually start enjoying what you have committed to. And when you don't do it, you miss it. So for me now, I've been working out for about 6 years. Consistently now for the last year, I've done 5 mornings a week, Monday to Friday, from 7 in the morning till about 8:30. If I don't do that now, I really miss it. I don't feel like I'm ready for the day. I'm not set up. It's like it doesn't put me in a great state of being. But I had to go through that first 30 days. It was the first couple of days I was like, I was intrigued and I was excited about it. Like, can I do this? By day 7, say day 8, I didn't want to do it. I was like going, oh God, my body was like, please just sleep in, don't go. I had to force my ass out of that bed, Fanny, and you've got to do that as well. I missed today as I felt unwell and I feel sick with guilt. Well, if you're unwell, it's wise not to go. because your body can't repair itself and repair muscle and all that kind of thing at once. You would run yourself down. You're probably going to recover better by having a couple of days off and then just hit it hard next time you go back. But don't use this as an excuse to quit or go into a slump and go, oh no, I couldn't do it. Okay, don't use it as procrastination. As soon as you feel well, get back on the horse, all right? That's absolutely imperative. Otherwise, you will be dragged right back down, and this will all be a waste, and you have to start again from scratch again. So you've got to keep with it. But if you go onto actonthis.tv and just open up the menu section, guys, and just search for the word habit in the search bar, you'll see two features I've done on habits and forming positive habits. One was a Periscope like this, and the other one was an article. You can read about it. So do go and check that out if you want to create real positive habits. Science suggests, so there's two theories. One is 30 days, one is 60 days. I prescribe to the 30-day. I always go off that, and it works for me. Fanny's did a gaming reel yesterday. Awesome, a computer game reel. So I'm working at the moment with a company, hopefully. I auditioned for them the other day to voice a new computer game where there's 800,000 lines. So it would be work from now until August 2017. So that would be huge if I got that. I'll keep you posted on that, and I'll make sure I post lots of Instagram stories doing that and how other people can get into that as well. I think it's great. Fanny says it's so much harder than I thought. It is. It really is hard. People think voiceover's fucking easy. Oh, I'm an actor, of course I can do voiceover, because that's not even as hard as acting because it's just the voice. Bullshit. Because it's just the voice, it's twice as hard. Because it's not easier. You don't have your body to emote with. You have everything in this voice. You know, right now, for me to keep you engaged on the audio experience, you don't see me. I hope my enthusiasm and the sound of my voice is keeping you engaged. Otherwise, I've lost you. I don't have the physicality there to keep you engaged. I can only do it through the voice. And it's the same in voiceover. So much to think about. You know, your delivery, your musicality, your tone, your pitch, your pace, microphone technique. Yet people think, oh, it's just something I do on the side. Well, you're never going to be successful if you feel it's just something you're going to do on the side of your acting. You've got to commit to it as hard as you do your acting career, and then you will start making progress. But it's no easier than acting. It really, really isn't. If anything, it's more demanding and it's harder. So you've got to commit to it even more, guys. You really, really do. But if I can help you with that, please email me, help@actonthis.tv. Before you email me, though, go to actonthis.tv and just search for the word voiceover on actonthis.tv, or even just voice, and you'll see multiple articles that I've written, and I also do demos as well on there. Lots of different things. Someone said they're doing a reel and something about radio drama. Yeah, I mean, well, radio drama is slightly different to voiceover, because radio drama really is acting. You're really using your acting skills. Voiceover for commercials, for web stuff, is different. For cartoons, it's different as well. I do a lot of cartoons and computer games, and obviously it's much more caricatured. It's crazy voices. A lot more energy is required. Radio drama, I've never done, and I would love to, because that's straight acting most of the time. I would love to do that. So let me know how you get on with that. I find that quite fascinating. I know a lot of my friends have done stuff for Radio 4 and things like that, so I'd be really interested in how you get on with that. Do let me know. But yeah, search on actonthis.tv for the word voiceover in the search bar. You just click on the menu icon and it'll fly out from the side, and then read those. If those don't help you, email me and I'll be able to help you as well. Dawn's here. All right, Dawn, I didn't even notice you joined. Good to see you. Apologies if I've ignored you, but yeah, thanks for joining. Right, I'm gonna head out, guys. But thank you so much for being here. Please join me next time. Please spread the word. I can't grow this community without you lot. Like, I really can't. I want to kind of go a bit harder on marketing now, because I'm like, the only way we're gonna make this, what I think it can be, is if we all kind of pull together. And I need you guys on board, tweeting stuff for me, retweeting stuff from the Acts on This TV account. Just spreading the word, leaving reviews on iTunes or Stitcher. If you're listening on the audio experience now, I would love you to leave a review after this. Let me know what you think, and just help me, because I can't do it on my own. Like, I've got to the point now where I've completely maxed out my productivity as a solopreneur, as they say, like, just a single guy trying to create something. So I appreciate you for being here and helping me, and the more help I can get, the more I can give you guys, because the bigger we can all make this thing. So thank you very, very much. Really do appreciate it. So I'm going to go, and I will catch up with you guys next week. If I can do anything for you, let me know. Oh, Caroline, yeah, thanks for leaving a review on Facebook. And Carrie Ann's here as well. Thank you. Absolute pleasure. Gary, I've got your email. So so Gary emailed me about helping out with stuff. Massively appreciate it. I filed it in my emails to get back to people with. I have to kind of do this, and I do a one big run of like email replies on a Sunday, like every 2 weeks, and sometimes I end up having to reply to literally sometimes 130 plus emails in a day. But I do it. But if I answered every email that comes in when it comes in, I'd never be able to plan these periscopes, do the slides, edit stuff. But I promise you I will reply, mate, and I really appreciate you reaching out and offering help, like massively. So thank you for that. Anyone who emails me and they're like, oh, he hasn't replied yet, I always will. It just takes a little bit of time. Steve, I don't need to reply to you. You sent me that email about your show reel a little while ago. But then you posted the new edit on the Facebook group. I think it's brilliant, mate. I think you've smashed that edit. I think it's great. It's short, it's sharp, it's to the point. Shows you off exactly for your character type. I wanted to tell you that on the scope tonight. Yeah, so I didn't forget. I think it's great. Get it out to people. It really does you justice. So I think that was a really good edit on that. Well done. Right, I'm definitely going now. I said about 100 times I'm going, but I definitely am. Appreciate you all, and I'll be back very soon. All right, catch you soon, guys. All right, bye for now. Bye.